Welcome to this edition of Meet City Hall. I'm your host, Kelly Hunter. And joining me on set today is our Finance Director, Karin Callan. Welcome.
Thank you, Kelly.
Hey, it's good to have you here on this set and in the studio with us. We want to talk finance.
Yes.
The finances of the city.
Yes.
Tell us, what size budget does the City of Douglasville operate on an annual basis?
All funds together is over $30 million.
Wow.
But the general fund is our chief operating fund, and that's a $26 million budget this fiscal year.
All right. That is a lot of cash flow.
It is.
A lot of numbers and dollars to keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your team and your department. Who helps you manage all of that?
I have about 6 employees on my team.
Okay.
Ashley Taylor's my assistant manager.
Mm-hmm.
So she and I work together very closely on issues with the budget and the financial report.
Okay.
I also handle payroll, which Mandy Pope handles payroll. And Tanya Pickett is my accountant 3, and she handles grants. Mm-hmm. I have Lori Martin, who handles business licenses, and Rachel Bordeaux is her receptionist.
So that's quite a full department.
Yes.
And looks like they all have very hefty responsibilities.
Yes.
When it comes to.
We're very busy.
When you're talking about payroll, you're talking about payroll for
the entire city.
The entire city. So our PD department, parks.
Yes.
All the way, is that our conference center staff as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Over 250 employees, and that includes part-time.
All right. So quite a bit to keep up with. Tell us some of the things that I know every year you come before Mayor and Council
Mm-hmm.
and present an audit finding. Tell us a little bit of that, because from my recall, we have been in very good financial standings regarding our audits for several years now in a row.
Yes, and it's an audit finding in my world is a bad name, so it's not an audit finding.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A clean opinion is what we call it, and that means that we have no deficiencies in our financial reporting. So we have had, since I have been here, we have not had any deficiencies in our financial reporting.
So then your department, City Hall, what we need to do to support I guess our purchase orders that we place, supporting documentation.
Correct.
I know one of the procedures that we're required is we do a 3-quote on our purchase. So we're looking to make sure that we're spending those dollars wisely.
Yes.
So what you're saying is the process, that's one of the small processes that they would audit.
That's correct.
And find a good audit trail.
We have to turn our financial report into the state. There's a very lengthy checklist that the state provides us that we have to be in compliance with.
Okay.
And like you said, that is one of the very small items that we, and that's an internal policy that our council has set.
Right. Just to keep that checks and balance in place.
That's correct. It's not required by GASB, which is our agency that sets the rules for our audit report, Governmental Accounting Standards Board, but it is an internal policy.
Okay. Well, tell us about I'm general public. I have a restaurant. I would like to maybe serve liquor. Am I going to be visiting your offices?
You will.
Okay.
You will.
Tell me that process.
Yes, Mandy Pope, who handles payroll, and she handles our alcohol licenses.
Okay.
If you go to the website, it'll give you directions on our directions on how to get your alcohol license started.
Okay.
You'll come see Mandy Pope, and she will walk you through the process. One thing we're rolling out, I know you had asked me earlier, what we're rolling out is we hope to do get the application process started online so that we can at least get most of it ironed out online.
Well, that would be good. That would be offering an online service to our public, getting them prepped before, because there's still part of that process that they would have to come in and handle, but at least they could get the upfront application.
Yes, maybe save a trip or two.
There you go. What about business license?
Yes, Lori Martin handles our business licenses, and we would also like to get that application and process online as well.
All right.
But she walks you through it. It has to be circulated between the Community Development Department to make sure that everything is zoned properly. But once that's through, then Lori Martin handles the business license. She'll hand you a business license, which is required to be posted on your wall at your place of business.
Right. You see those as you walk in, and
yes,
those are issued on an annual basis as well, or reissued.
Yes.
Requalified for.
Yes.
A lot of what people in our departments, when we put items before council for them to consider, purchases, large purchases, that type of thing, your department helps, I guess, that process of getting it before committee, the council.
Yes.
And that process, how does that work?
We adopt the budget at the beginning of the year. It starts July 1. And we try to include as many things as possible that we project. Sometimes there are some unforeseen items that come up that's an emergency.
Right.
And then we have to do a budget amendment. And also my projections might change throughout the year.
And that would be based on maybe a downflow or a slowdown in property taxes, sales taxes, that type of thing?
Sales taxes is a specific example right now because fuel prices are down so low. My sales tax projections are slightly
less than?
Yeah, less than projected, very slightly, because we're very conservative when we budget so that these things like this don't catch us by surprise. But I have not seen as much as an increase in sales tax as we've had over the past couple of years, which is due to fuel prices. So that would be a budget amendment.
So you use the word conservative. Is that a practice that is standard, or is that something that you have adopted as a finance director, seeing that as you're forecasting, it's a great recommendation to not push the limit, so to speak, in those budgets?
Yes, and I've been very fortunate to have the support of the city manager, mayor, and council that do not put pressure to purchase more than what our dollars will provide. So my personal stance is to budget very conservatively. It's done well for us over the past, since the recessionary period of 2008.
Right.
But definitely I've seen other colleagues who get pressure from their boards to make sure that your projections are high enough so that we can afford to buy what we want to buy.
Yeah, X, Y, or Z, whatever that is. So I do know, and along with that, the fact that we're managing the budget very conservatively as a mayor and council, as a finance director, city manager, it's a full team that pulls together with that. That also helps us in those audit findings and standings. Excuse me, not audit findings.
Yes.
I'm not in the audit world.
Yes.
But in the audit report and grading system, correct?
Well, okay, so the Standard & Poor's, they grade us, and they grade our bonds, which that's our financial solvency comes into play there.
Right.
But our financial reporting is basically, are we reporting accurate information?
All right.
So it doesn't matter if we're
projecting,
as
just
long
whatever the flow of the
right, as long as the data is accurate.
Okay.
And we could be running a loss in our general fund, and still get a very clean opinion because we are reporting that properly.
All right. But for the taxpayers on the front end, where we collect the tax dollars, we're operating on a very conservative method so that their tax dollars are spent and invested in the most wise and economical way.
Correct. And our financial report is online.
Okay.
So anyone can go take a look, and you'll be able to see there's some statistical data in the back of the financial report that shows how we've been operating over the past 10 years. So we make that data available, and then they can be sure with the audit finding, excuse me, now you've got me saying audit finding, the unqualified opinion or the clean bill of health, that the information is accurate.
Okay. And moving forward, kind of give us an idea. I know as a city staff and a director, we're moving into budget season, the preliminaries. Kind of give our audience a rundown of how that fiscal year operates.
Okay. Budget preparation?
Budget preparation and budget cycle.
We are required by the state to have a budget adopted by July 1, so we aim at the end of June 30. That's the end of our fiscal year. So that we have a budget in place for our new fiscal year, which begins on July 1. We start the budget process in March. All the department heads come together and make their requests to the finance committee and the city manager. The city manager, of course, vets out certain things. We present it to the mayor and council. We have our public hearings, and it is adopted from that point.
All right. And I know one thing that we've implemented recently is a 5-year capital plan.
Yes.
Give us just a little bit of our audience a heads up of how you're implementing that into the budget processing for years looking ahead and forecasting.
Yes, we think that it's very important to see what our cash outlay and capital requirements are over a 5-year period projecting forward. We don't want to come up on a fiscal year not have the funds for a major purchase, or we do want to make sure that we have plenty of funds available for transportation and infrastructure.
Okay.
So it helps the city manager and the council determine their priorities. And the 5-year capital plan projects capital items, which includes roads, infrastructure, bridges. Of course, we don't do bridges. The city doesn't do bridges.
But any new buildings or renovations, projects along those lines.
Correct. Big ticket items.
Big ticket items.
That's correct. Yes.
All right. Well, it sounds like the finance department is doing a wonderful job. You're getting great opinions and a great team there. Everybody's always very friendly as we walk through City Hall and you see them engaging at the windows there. And then, of course, the front desk, you guys do a rotation and covering that throughout the day.
Yes.
Everybody's very friendly, very helpful.
Yes, yes.
And I know that's the customer service that City Hall offers.
We enjoy what we do.
All right. Well, congratulations, Karen, on operating a great finance department.
Thank you, Kelly.
And thank you for being with us on Meet City Hall.
All right. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on this edition.